What's up, Dream Warriors? Welcome back to another episode of a podcast on Elm Street. I'm Mark.
And I'm Brooke.
And we're coming at you guys with week 3 of our movies that make you wet.
Yeah.
With Jaws from 1975.
Yep.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
This was originally slated to be part 1 of our Villain Faceoff for the month, but we've decided that we're just not going to do a Villain Faceoff this month because neither of us are feeling totally up for it.
Yeah.
For this one. But we are still keeping obviously this movie and the movie that we had already previously thought about for the last episode. So everything's moving along the same way that it was, just without the Villain Face-Off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I came up with this idea for this theme, I knew that we had to have Jaws somewhere in here. You can't have a water-based horror theme without having Jaws.
Yeah.
And we've never done it before. We're pushing 171 episodes now. This will be 172. So we're long overdue for doing this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But before we dive into that movie discussion, we'll kick off news and booze. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking nothing right now.
I thought so.
I already had my only beer I'd left during the start of the Leafs game. Go Leafs go, they're playing right now.
Kicking ass.
But yeah, and then it's 420 today, so
That's true.
Couldn't not celebrate it, so
That's true. I never even thought of that. I should have smoked tonight too.
Yeah.
Oh,
what about you? What are you drinking?
Okay. Well, we're gonna get canceled by our hillbilly listeners. But our neighbor doesn't drink, and he had some Bud Light Lime left over from last time his buddies were at his place. So he brought them over to me, and I'm drinking that tonight.
Nice. Very controversial pick. I like it.
I don't give a fuck.
It's hot in here.
Feel better?
Not yet, but
all right. Well, what have you been watching since we last talked?
This week watched a little bit. I did actually watch a horror movie this week.
That's good.
So,
Starting to think you weren't even a horror fan anymore.
I know. Watched 22 Jump Street because it's been a while since I've seen it. Movies, I don't know. It's okay. It's funny, but I don't know. It's kind of slow. Watch Little Miss Sunshine. Been a while since I've seen that. I think it's on the IMDb list. But yeah, been a while since I see that. Watched Burnt, which is a Bradley Cooper movie. But him being a chef and stuff. I thought it was okay. I watched the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie, which was released after the first season. And I'm really hoping this anime kicks back up again because the first season was so good. So
I've never heard of it.
it's amazing. It's so good, man. Highly recommend it.
Check it out.
My one horror movie I watched this week is a movie that is your movie.
Yep.
That is Laid to Rest. So we are moving in a week exactly today, and I was packing up my movie. Still have half a shelf or full shelf to go still, but I have a stack of movies you lent me like
2 years
literally
ago.
probably 3 years ago. So I watched Laid to Rest. I don't know. I liked it, but didn't like it. I don't know. It's like bad but good. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. The kills and the gore is like pretty rad, but the story and the acting like is pretty terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I watched Moana because it's been a while since I've seen that, and I don't know, it felt like watching an anime movie. So yeah,
Cool.
that's pretty much it.
Very nice.
What about
All
you?
right. Well, get your screen off, and then I'll tell you.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I need to plug in my laptop. I was distracted.
Supposed to
You
do
can
that
go ahead.
before. I am. I had to get it up. All right. Yeah, there's buddies. So I watched Bridesmaids just randomly.
Nice.
I was in the mood for comedy and I saw it while I was scrolling. Um and then to make you happy, I watched Little Miss Sunshine
Love it.
because well, I had thought that I'd never seen it before, but
Yeah.
then Sarah told me that I watched it like whenever we first got together, which was like
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago. Actually, the year that this movie came out, I think.
Damn.
So yeah, 17 years, I think now. Yeah. But I didn't remember any of it. I love it too. I think it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
Happy I rewatched it. Me and the boys watched DC League of Super Pets. It's fun. And then I was sick Monday and Tuesday this week, so I was home from work and I decided to bang out some movies that I've been wanting to watch,
Damn, 4
rewatch.
movies.
Yeah. So I watched Gladiator because it's part of the IMDb top 250, and it's been a while since I've watched it.
Nice.
Obviously, amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Princess Mononoke, which was the first time watch, also on the IMDb top 250. I loved it, man. I think that movie is so fucking good.
Yeah, I've never
And
seen it, so
yeah, you need to watch it. It's like borderline a horror movie too. It's fucking
damn.
excuse me. Holy shit, it's wild. Then I watched Men in Black just because. Why not? And then We're the Millers because I was in a comedy kick.
Nice. That's been like I've scrolled past it like a few times, and like I've always wanted to put it on, but I just haven't done it yet.
It's a fun movie. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I watched Kids versus Aliens, which is a new one on Shudder.
Oh,
It's from the director of not Turbo Kid. I think it was the same producer as Turbo Kid.
hmm.
Um, oops. Fuck. Who directed it? Jason Eisner is his name. Oh, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh, okay, nice,
The same director as that. It was a fun movie. I liked it. There's some
nice.
pretty gnarly scenes in it.
That's
Just
sick.
basically kids fighting off an alien invasion.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it was fun. And lastly, we watched Finding Dory.
Nice,
I let the kids pick a movie, and that's what they picked.
awesome.
So yeah, I've watched quite a bit this past week, just with being sick and at home and not
Yeah.
really wanting to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Still a little bit sick if you can hear it, but
That's
getting
okay.
better.
Good.
All right. As for the news, Insidious The Red Door trailer dropped this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've watched the trailer yet or not.
I haven't, no, because we were gonna do a reaction, so I didn't.
It's
I
too
see
late
you
for
went
that
ahead and
now.
watched it then.
Too late for that now. Um, yeah, I don't know. I love the Insidious movies. Well, some of them. and I don't know how I feel about this one. Looks like it's going to be kind of tame,
Hmm.
or or they did the trailer right and they didn't show us all the fucking scary bits.
Yeah, maybe that'd be
So
cool.
could go either way.
Hmm.
I texted you the other day because I'm super stoked about this one, but they announced the new Godzilla versus King
Oh
Kong
yeah.
movie called The New Empire.
Hmm.
And we're going to see Godzilla and King Kong joining forces this time
Yeah.
to fight some other monsters that have been laying dormant underneath the earth.
Hmm.
And lastly, we have two huge movie releases this weekend, and I'm excited for both of them. But I have a strong feeling I'm not going to be able to go and see either one of them this weekend. But I'm really hoping I can go at least
Yeah.
for one. But yeah, Evil Dead Rise comes out,
Yeah.
and Beau is Afraid also comes out this weekend.
Yeah. Super pumped for both those.
Yeah, I'm really hoping I can go see Evil Dead Rise this weekend. But
Hmm. Yeah.
we'll see how everything plans out. All right.
Cool. As for 4K releases, there's a few. There isn't really any horror. I think there's one horror, but I've never heard of it. So Serpico, Al Pacino
Nice.
movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but
Good.
I've heard of it. 12 Angry Men got a 4K release.
Oh,
So that's pretty cool. I wonder how that looks.
yeah. We might forget that.
Yeah. And then there's a Criterion Collection release. The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman, which is
Yeah.
a director that I've seen like everywhere, but I've never seen any of his movies, so I kind
Mhm.
of want to get into his. And then the horror movie that I think it's The Haunting of Julia.
Never heard of
Never
it.
heard of it. I don't know. So
Sounds like a horror.
it's a collector's edition, so I don't know. It must be the older movie, maybe.
Haunting of Julia.
Oh, Mia Farrow. Hmm,
1977. Drama, horror, and mystery.
interesting. Hmm, cool.
Well, I probably won't be getting that one.
No.
But that 12 Angry Men, that's enticing.
Yeah,
That's an amazing movie.
it is very enticing. Yeah.
All
And that's
right.
it.
Cool, cool. Let's cue the theme music and we'll dive on in. All right, like we said in the intro this week, we're talking about Jaws from 1975, the OG shark attack movie,
Yeah.
the movie that made people afraid of oceans and sharks for the past 50, almost 50
Hmm.
years. Finally doing it.
Yeah.
Starting off the synopsis. When a killer shark unleashes chaos on a beach community off Cape Cod, it's up to a local sheriff, a marine biologist, and an old seafarer to hunt the beast down.
Yeah.
And hunt it down they do. This movie was directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg, who needs no introduction. Everybody knows who he is. I don't need to rhyme off his resume. Um, I had the suggestion of us doing our top three Spielberg movies, but you reminded me that we did that already on our Close Encounters episode.
Yeah.
So if you want to know that, go check out that episode
Hmm.
because we're not repeating it. The cast list starting off is Roy Scheider, who plays Sheriff Brody. He came back and reprised his role in Jaws 2. He was in The French Connection, all that jazz, and The Punisher. He played what's his name's father? What's his name? Frank Castle? Frank Castle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays dad. Robert Shaw played Quint. He sadly passed away 3 years after Jaws was released. But he was in From Russia with Love, The Sting, A Man for All Seasons, and the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Richard Dreyfuss plays Hooper. He was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, American Graffiti, The Good Guy Girl, Mr. Holland's Opus, and a whole bunch of other movies. And lastly, I have Lorraine Gary, who plays Ellen Brody. She came back in Jaws 2 and Jaws 3, The Revenge, reprising her role. And she was also in a movie called 1941. But yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if you had any honorable mentions or not.
No, I didn't know. No,
Have you ever watched any of the sequels?
I haven't. No,
Me either.
I hear that like they're actually not bad. Like
Yeah.
even some people like Jaws 4, like it's kind of like cult classic, I think.
Mhm. Is that The Revenge or is Jaws 3 The Revenge?
Might be Jaws 3, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to watch them.
Because the second one has um Brody back in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's in it, but
Mhm. Yeah, I don't even really know like what the story premise is for those sequels.
mhm.
I imagine it's obviously similar, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not Bruce.
No, definitely not.
Are you ready to kick off the movie discussion?
Yes, sir. So before we get into this, so Jaws is widely regarded as the inventor of the summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
The quintessential blockbuster movie, that started it all.
Yeah.
So I wanted to run through a list of every summer blockbuster since Jaws.
Holy fuck. All right.
I'll make it quick, okay?
Okay.
If you have any comments, just stop me.
Okay.
I'll also say the worldwide box office of the movies.
E- Like you're going through a list of 48 movies?
That'll be quick.
Okay. All right.
It'll be quick.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so Jaws made 470 million worldwide. The Omen the following year, 60.9 million.
Jesus.
Star Wars, 503. Grease, 366 mil.
Reese?
Yeah, Grease.
Oh,
And
Grease.
what do you think I said?
Reese, like Reese's peanut butter cups. I was like,
I don't
what
think
is
they were
Reese?
invented then.
No, I know. That's the word that I heard.
Alien made 203 million. Star Wars Episode 5, 400 million. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 354 mil. E.T., 663 mil.
Back to back Spielbergs.
Yep. Star Wars Return of the Jedi, 374. Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, 333. Seeing a trend here.
Yeah.
Back to the Future, 381.
Okay.
Top Gun, 353. Beverly Hills Cop 2 made almost 300 million worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in 87.
Good job, Eddie Murphy.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Yes.
329 mil. Indiana Jones Last Crusade, 574 mil. Ghost made over 500 million.
Damn.
T2 Judgment Day, 519.
Nice.
Lethal Weapon 3 in 92,
Random.
321 million. Jurassic Park, 912 million.
Spielberg.
Yeah. The Lion King, 763 mil. Die Hard with a Vengeance in 95, 366. Independence Day, 817 million. The Lost World Jurassic Park, 618 mil. Armageddon, 553. Star Wars Episode 1, 924 million.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 2, 546 mil.
Okay.
Shrek, 484 million. Spider-Man, 821 mil.
Damn.
Finding Nemo, 871. Shrek 2, 919 million. So made almost double what Shrek did worldwide.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember people are super stoked about Shrek too.
Yeah. Star Wars Episode 3, 848. Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest made like $1 billion. Pirates of the Caribbean Outworld's End, 963 million. The Dark Knight made like a billion as well. Harry Potter Half-Blood Prince made 934. Toy Story 3 made over a bill. Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2 made insane amount of money. The Avengers, I don't even know what these numbers are anymore.
Jesus, man. How
Yeah.
much did you smoke tonight?
Iron Man 3 made a shit ton. Transformers Age of Extinction,
Oh, really?
Jurassic World,
Yeah.
Captain America Civil War, Despicable Me 3, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and Top Gun Maverick.
Shit.
Yeah, they don't have 2020 or 2021, so I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah,
Sort of summer blockbusters. Well, probably not with COVID.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. No summer movies.
Yeah.
Damn.
Fuck, I'm smart.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the changing of the trends.
Mm-hmm.
Like we went from like, well, there's actually a few more horror movies than I was expecting.
At the
Which,
start, it was all
yeah,
mostly horror and sci-fi.
yeah, at the start, like we had Alien, The Omen, um, and then like it moved into like action movies
Yeah,
and like action adventure movies,
yeah,
and then it moved into like animation,
yeah. Animation, CGI.
yeah, and then it moved into fucking Marvel, of course. But
Yeah, yeah.
that was cool to see that trend.
Mm-hmm.
Some fucking, how much is Spielberg worth?
A
Like,
lot.
I'd like to know what like the net gross is on all of his movies,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
combined. That'd be fuck. Man, he's made so much goddamn money.
He has. He
Stupid.
has.
What's is it the Fablemans? Yeah, he did the
Yeah, that
Fablemans.
came out last year. Yeah.
Have you watched that? Yeah, I think so, eh?
No, I haven't. No, I want to. I heard it's like a not like an autobiography. Like it's about his life, kind of,
Hmm.
but not really, or something.
Yeah, it's like loosely based off of
Hmm.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really want to watch it. Be interesting.
yeah. So yeah, Jaws. The movie that started it all pretty much. It's this is like a classic. I've seen it a few times. I'm sure you have too. Um, and like right off the bat, we get our first kill. Really, it's like
Yeah.
kids at a party. They go out skinny dipping. The girls in the water, and she gets taken down. She's screaming, and then like I don't know where the fuck the guy went. Like,
He passed out on the beach. He was drunk as fuck.
oh, did he?
Yeah, because he was
Oh, okay.
chasing her, and he's like, "I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk." But meanwhile, he's tripping over his own feet, trying to get his
Yeah,
pants off.
yeah.
But like,
Oh
this
man.
girl had no business swimming that far out in the middle of the night in the
No,
ocean.
no, she didn't.
Like, you're just asking for something to get you.
I know. So she's like screaming. She obviously gets killed.
Mhm.
And then the next morning they find the body and you meet Chief Brody, and they don't really tell anybody that they found the body,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Like Chief Brody and the mayor and stuff like that. So then now the next day, um, there's at the beach again, and like this, I watched the 4K and like this movie like looks really good.
yeah.
Uh, but
Bef-
like
bef-
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say before you move on with that first kill, there's some like super cool trivia with this movie too.
Mm,
And like with that first kill, you see like a woman's arm kind of sticking up out of the sand. And like whenever you first see her dead body.
yeah,
And they had like a prosthetic arm, but James or Spielberg didn't like the way that it looked. Like he said it didn't look real enough, and like they couldn't get the angle on it properly. So they ended up burying one of the female crew members in the sand, and like that's actually like a woman buried in the sand with just her arm sticking out,
that's
which
hilarious.
I thought was really cool. Like just the shit that they had to do with this movie was some of it was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I like literally had one note I took the entire movie, and it was about how much I hate this fucking island and the people in it.
Oh man, there's such pieces of shit.
So Especially the mayor. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Like the guy's a fucking dumbass, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Like I understand it's a tourist place and like you make your money from tourism, but like people keep dying on your beach, dude. Nobody's gonna come anymore.
yeah, yeah, like he's just so blind from like
Dollar signs.
dollar signs pretty much. But yeah, this like movie doesn't hold back, man. Beginning of the movie, everyone's out on the beach and then there's a kid on like this kind of life raft thing and he gets taken under by the shark and everyone starts running in and then it's like realized that it's like some lady's kid that fucking got ate and
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Did you hear the story about this too?
No.
So the woman who played that lady, Lee Fiera or something like that, she ended up going to a restaurant like decades later,
Hmm.
and one of the menus items was the was his name Alex Kintner,
Yeah.
called like the Alex Kintner burger or sandwich or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, like I played his mother in a movie."
Yeah.
And so the waitress ran and got the owner, and the
Yeah.
owner came out, and it ended up being the kid actor who owned the
What?
restaurant. Yeah.
No way.
It was the first time that they'd seen each other since the movie wrapped up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a cool
Just like
story.
such a small world.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. And then like right off the bat of the movie too, like this has probably one of the most iconic scores in any movie.
Oh, absolutely. John Williams fucking nailed it.
Yeah, yeah. Like the score is so like it's creepy, scary, but then also some scenes it's very like whimsical. Like it has that
Mm.
like Indiana Jones kind of like
Yeah.
adventure score, like when they're on the boat, like near the end and stuff, like trying to catch this thing.
Yeah.
It's really like one of a kind.
Yeah. Spielberg laughed at it at first too.
Well, it's like just like two notes, like
Yeah.
the most iconic one, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so the opening scene, the kid gets ate, and then they're like back at the coroner's table, and the mayor's like, "Oh, I got a big weekend coming up, go to the beach," and Brody's just like, "What? No, like a kid just died, eaten by a shark, and you want to go out?" And the guy's like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It's never happened before, in our beach and stuff like that." Um, so then Brody calls, I forget what Hooper's job title is. He's like a
Like a marine biologist, kind of,
basically,
sort
yeah,
of.
like
Yeah.
he studies sharks and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, he ends up coming and then they're like examining the body and he's like doing like all the sciencey stuff, like explaining like what was damaged and stuff, and like it looks like he's about to like throw up.
Mhm.
And you see like just a part of like the girl's arm, and it's like looks all like fucked up. I
Yeah.
love that scene a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like you expect him to like pull out like a full gurney sort of thing.
Yeah.
And all he pulls out is like basically a fucking Tupperware container of this girl's body parts.
Yeah, yeah. And then like the mayor's just like sitting in the back, like just annoyed with everything. Like, he's like, "Oh, this is a waste of time." Like just probably what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so now they hold like a kind of meeting with the town to try and figure out what to do. And like people just aren't taking this seriously. Like there's people making jokes about like the kid and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine being that kid's mom sitting there.
Because like she makes a reward, like,
Yeah.
$3,000 to the person who catches or kills the shark.
Hmm.
And like someone like at like the judge's table or whatever it is to like make a joke about it. It's like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
And that's when Quint kind of speaks up too, and he says he'll
Yeah.
guarantee that he'll capture and kill the shark, but he wants $10,000 for it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really like Quint in this movie. He's like he's old, but like not really. I don't know. He just is very old school.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love him in this movie.
Um, there's a scene later on, and it reminds me so much of that scene in the lighthouse when the two of them are just like sitting there at the table bickering
Mm-hmm.
between Quint and Hooper.
Mm-hmm.
And like Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss like actually hated each other
Oh,
in real
really?
life. So like this bickering is like pretty legit. Like they
Hmm.
did not get along whatsoever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder why that is.
I don't know. I feel like Robert Shaw could kind of probably be a bit of a dick.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, basically like the next day, all these fucking fishermen from like all over the place because she sent out like not only to like the local newspaper, but like to newspapers like two towns over. So like all these like fishermen are coming, like trying to catch the shark, and they have like no idea how to fish or like no one even on this island knows what a shark is, right? Like
Yeah.
because I guess they get them so rarely there, maybe.
Well, yeah,
But
like it's Cape Cod. I don't think that's a huge shark area.
that's Cape Cod is near not Michigan.
Um, like New England is what
Yeah,
I
New England. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, so all these people show up and like even before Brody is like doing research on sharks and like some of the pictures that you see in like the textbook he's reading was pretty fucking gnarly. A guy like
Yeah.
missing his whole fucking leg and it's nuts.
One guy had like a big chunk out of his side, like his rib cage.
Yeah, yeah. But I think this movie does a really good job of like truly terrifying people.
Hmm.
And like in reality, sharks are they're dangerous, but like
Yeah.
they're not as dangerous as people make them out to be.
What was the stat? Like, isn't it? It's something like more people die from cows in a
Yeah, I
year
think we
than
mentioned that in the
sharks.
shallows. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is nuts. But like, I attribute people's fear of sharks to this movie.
100%.
Like, if it wasn't for this movie, well, I don't want to say if it wasn't for this movie, but like, this movie kicked off the whole shark frenzy horror
Mm-hmm.
movies and like shark attack movies and all this shit. There's no denying that.
Mm-hmm.
So like if this movie wasn't made, people may not be as afraid of sharks as what they are now.
Yeah.
Like we have our good buddy Dennis who is fucking petrified of sharks. And we live in Canada. Like we don't have sharks here.
No.
There's no reason to be afraid of them here.
Well, where we live, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like we're not like in a coastal town or anything like that. There's no ocean
No.
near us or anything like
No,
that.
not even close.
Yeah. We have the St. Lawrence River and there's no sharks in there. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the worst we have is a muskie.
Oh,
But
man.
just crazy the effect that this movie had.
Yeah. And also there's like the ocean is scary, right?
But yeah.
Like it's such an unknown.
Mhm.
Like even today, like I forget what the stat is, but it's like only like I don't know what number it is, but it's like under 50% of the ocean has been like discovered.
Wasn't it only like 2%?
Is it that low?
It's like stupid low. Like we know more about space than we know about our oceans.
Yeah, which is crazy stat. But it's just like you don't know what's in there. I think that's what makes like even just being in water, like I find like whenever you go swimming in like a lake or something, like you usually can't see the bottom or it's too dark to see anything. And like,
Yeah.
you feel seaweed on your leg. You're like, oh, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, exactly. It's 5%.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that was as like recent as 2022.
Wow. That's fucked. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It goes to show.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this scene when all the fishermen show up. Like one guy has like fucking dynamite and they're all like going out on their boats. Like almost run into each other. The one guy just throws dynamite in the fucking ocean, it blows up. And then like someone's like, "Oh, watch your starboard," and the guy is like driving. He's like, "What's that?" Like they don't even know what a boat is.
Anybody looking for the money?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So then later that night, there's a big commotion, and some fishermen caught a, a shark. They think it's the shark that did it, and this is after they did like their well, I forget the word is they check the body and stuff like that.
Mm.
And everyone's like cheering, there's like newspapers are like, go take a picture, and like even Brody's like gets in the film, and then like Hooper is like in there like with his measuring tape measuring like the jaws, and the mayor's like, get out of there, like come on. And then Hooper says to Brody, like, I don't think that's your shark. Like it could be, but your shark is way bigger than this. And he's like, the only way we can find out is if we cut it open.
Yeah.
Um,
And this shark is small.
yeah, because he says it's like a tiger shark, and the one guy is like, tiger
How do you know
shark.
that? One of them says, well, it's probably a mako, but he says mako.
Yeah,
It's probably a mako.
that's so funny. And then the mother from the beginning shows up and like just came from a funeral, something like that. And like this part pissed me off too, because she like comes up and she's like to Brody, she's like, I just found out that a girl died a week and a half before my son died. And then she slaps him, and she's like, it's your fault. And I was like, okay, you can't just blame him. Your mayor's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't
Like,
his call.
no. And like Brody does say, he's like, yeah, okay, it was my fault. Yeah. Like he kind of does take part of the blame, but like the mayor just doesn't even take any responsibility.
No, not at all.
No, no. And I love too during all this, Quint is like on his boat just in the harbor, just like sitting back and like watching everyone, and he like knows that's not the shark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because he's the only one that has like experience with actually going out and like doing charter fishing.
yeah. Because like his whole like house or whatever he lives in is like has all these like jaws, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's
he's like
sick.
caught lots of sharks and stuff like that. Like he's the only
Mhm.
one that really knows how to do it. Um, so yeah, I forget, do they go out? Does Hooper and Brody go out by themselves before they cut open the shark, or is that after
Uh,
at nighttime?
I think it's after.
Yeah, so they bring the shark that they caught back to like the marina or whatever like that, and they cut open the shark, and just like other fish fall out. There's like a license plate that falls out, and then
Mhm.
they're like, okay, well, this isn't the shark that killed them, because he was explaining before to the mayor, like they can still like they're slow to digest, so like it could take up to 24 hours to get it its stomach.
Yeah.
So yeah, now Hooper and Brody are going out. I think just Brody, no, Hooper just wants to do more research, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so they go out, and then they find a abandoned ship that has crashed.
Mhm.
And I don't remember what happened to this, because my like PS5 sometimes like skips a bit with the 4Ks.
Oh,
So
that's
I
shitty.
this scene kind of like skipped ahead a bit, so I didn't see. I saw him like going under the water, but I forget. I think it's just like a jump scare that happens, and
Yeah.
then does he find the bodies down there or no?
Uh, the body of the fisherman whose boat it
He
is.
does
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Um.
is a jump scare. Like he's swimming up to like a window and the guy's face like slams up
Yeah.
against the
Okay.
window.
Okay. I remember that from the last time I watched it too. Yeah. Uh. And like the whole time, Brody's like, "You're not gonna go in there, are you?" And like Cooper's like, "It's okay, let's be 2 minutes. It'll be fine. It'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, because Brody's afraid of the water.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
doesn't
want to be
like.
out there at
No, he
all.
doesn't like the water at all. No, no. So yeah, now the next day, um, is like kind of the big weekend because everybody's hearing about what happened at the beach in Amity, I think is the name of the town.
Yeah.
Um, so like this huge big ass ferry like pulls up, all these bikers and like cars, like tons of like thousands of people are here. And the mayor is like, you know, he's just doing his thing, doesn't care at all. There's still two people that died.
Yeah.
The beaches are open. Hooper doesn't want the beaches to be open, but he has no choice, right? Really. There's like tons of people on the beach. And then the mayor goes up to this old couple and he's like, oh, hey, Bill, how's it going? He's like, why aren't you in the water?
Well,
And
I
the
just
guy's
put my
like,
sunscreen on.
yeah, yeah. You can tell that he was like kind of scared. And then the mayor's like, oh, I get in the water. No one's getting in the water. Come on, do it.
Yeah.
So him and his wife get up, go in the water, and
Bring the
get
grandkids out
their
there.
grandkids. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like even when they're getting in the water, you can tell like they're fucking terrified. Like they do not want to get in that water.
No.
But then like the second they get out there,
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh wow, look at them!" And then they just all start fucking rushing to the
Everyone
water.
goes in there.
Yeah.
This I did have a question about this scene, like because Brody's two kids or one of the kids pulls up with his friends. They're going to play like a sailboat kind of thing
Yeah.
in the ocean, and he's like, "Oh no, go play in the pond."
Mhm.
But like, what exactly was the pond? Because from what it seemed like to me, like Brody didn't think that any fish or anything from the ocean could get in there.
I think it's just like a more shallow part of the ocean. Like it's almost like an inlet
Okay,
is what I got from it.
yeah,
So I think he just assumes that like that there
that
wouldn't be a shark out
they're
there.
safe. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe. So yeah, everyone's out in the ocean. And then all the boats are also out there, like past the little like sectioned off part where the people could swim.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's like a black fin that shows up. And then everyone's like starts freaking the fuck out. And
Yeah.
like if someone did die here, I wouldn't have been sad. I've been like, you probably deserved it for going
Yeah.
out in the fucking water.
Fucking idiots.
But like people are freaking out. There's like kids on a raft, and one guy just like flips them over and takes the raft. He's like, fuck these kids. And everyone's like trampling over each other, like people are getting stomped. It's like
There's an old guy that's like passed out in the water.
yeah, he's just done, man. Uh so I'm like the people go up to like the shark, they have like their guns out, harpoons, and it turns out to be the two sons, or one of the sons, I think. Or no, it
No,
wasn't sons,
they're
just
just
two
friends. They're
kids.
just yeah.
And it's like imagine one of those guys just pulled the trigger
Oh
and just
fuck
fucking
yeah.
harpooned a kid. Like,
Yeah. Like kids are fucking stupid, man.
yeah, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
4 of them and I fear for their future sometimes.
So while this is going on, everyone's getting out of the water. You hear, or the camera cuts to the boys on the boat, and there's like another random guy in like this little like I don't know paddle boat,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey kids, you okay?" And then like all of a sudden you see the shark behind him and like just bull into his boat,
Yeah.
take him under, eat him. You see his leg like fall to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Then the kids like fall into the water too, but then yeah, they get her there. The shark leaves, so
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
So like go ahead.
I was gonna say it's pretty like scary, intense part.
Mhm. See, this is shark behavior as we know it. Like I brought up during our episode of the shallows where like I don't think that this shark would continuously attack this or like stalk this one person when it has a full blown like food supply 100 feet away. Because like the shark ate, now it's full, now it's leaving. It's not just going to keep fucking going and going and going.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I think it was Hooper. He did say to Brody at one point, he's like, this shark is going to keep coming back and it's going to keep attacking until its food source is depleted.
Hmm.
So like until it eats everybody, it's going to keep coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then it'll eventually go somewhere else when there's nothing left to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much all this chaos happens, and then before they hire Quince to, I don't know if they really hire him, but they kind of convince him
Mhm.
to go out. The the mayor is like at like their billboard that they have like made up, and he's like freaking out because like some kids graffitied on it. They like painted a shark fin and on the billboard with like someone saying something like shark or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like ripping Brody like it's his fault, and it's like, and then like some lady like teams up with the mayor and like is ripping Brody. It's like they're like, you gotta keep our beaches safe, and it's like, how can I do that if you're letting people on the beach? Like, I don't know, man.
Everyone's got a place to blame somewhere, right?
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So yeah, now they go to Quint's little house to try and convince him to come with them, and you can tell like right away he does not like Hooper.
Yeah.
Like, Hooper has all this like scientific stuff, like drugs and stuff, and
Mhm.
Quinn's just like this old school guy. It's just like a spear and like a
Harpoon.
fishing rod, right?
Yeah.
I love their like kind of dynamic they have.
Oh man, they have such good banter back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. So yeah, they end up convincing him to come help. And I love like whenever he's like packing at the boat and just like some of the stuff he says, like Quint is so funny. And then like Brody shows up like with his wife and she's like scared and he's like, oh, I'm going fishing. And
Yeah.
they just hear like Quint in the background just like going off about women and like how they're such a burden and like stuff like that. Like they can't be fishermen, and I don't know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, so now into like kind of like the final scenes. Like this movie is like pretty long, but it doesn't feel long to me at least.
Yes and no. There were some parts that dragged on,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say that they should take anything away from it because I feel like
Mhm.
every part that's in the movie kind of needs to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was some parts where I felt
Mhm.
that was a bit long.
Yeah. So yeah, they're out in the ocean tracking this shark, and they're like system, they have like these like yellow barrels that I think they like that they used to help like track the shark, obviously,
Yeah.
but also like to it kind of shows like how powerful the shark really is,
Oh yeah.
because like the barrels like they're not filled with anything, but like they're like very buoyant.
Hmm.
So like when they're down under the water, like it obviously makes it heavy for whatever's dragging them, right?
Yeah.
So like at a certain point, like I think there's like three of them in Quince. Quince like, oh, he won't be able to stay under with them. Like pull them under, then like the shark does, and he's like, well, that's never happened before.
I love Brody during this like initial scene out on the Orca too, because he's got this big bucket of chum and he's just scooping fucking fish guts
Yeah,
into the water and he looks like he's ready to fucking throw up
he does. He has
himself.
like some rag that he's putting. I don't know what it is on it, but like he's sniffing it. So I
Yeah.
guess it probably helps with like his seasickness and stuff.
Yeah.
He's just like throwing it out there, and then like Quint is just like in his chair with like his fucking big ass fishing rod. He has like the
Yeah.
straps, all of that, and then like they're going, and then they see the shark, and like, well, actually, only Quint she sees the shark at first, and
Yeah.
he's just like, he doesn't see it. His like fishing line is like
Hmm.
slowly going. I love that he's just so calm about it. Like
Yeah.
he's just sitting there and like just watching his fishing line. It felt like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, Hooper, turn the boat, whatever. And then Quint, like, get behind me, strap me in. And then, like, he, like, hooks onto it, like, has, like, a foot thing. Like
Yeah, he's
he's
got
ready
this
to go.
wild ass setup, man.
He does,
Where
yeah.
he doesn't have to stand up. He just keeps sitting down in his
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
chair.
yeah. Um, so a crazy thing that Spielberg wanted to do for this movie is that he wanted to train a shark.
Yeah.
He wanted to use a real fucking shark.
I don't think you're training a shark.
You're not training a shark, man. That is a
Apex predator.
apex predator, yes. Um, but I think it worked out for the best, honestly, because like the shark in this looks fantastic.
Yeah, it just showed what they could do with what they had.
Mhm.
Like they made 3 animatronic sharks.
Yeah,
And like almost 50 years later, like the shark still looks really good.
it does. It does. Like they had the Jaws ride at Universal Studios for
Yeah.
like ever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it wasn't there when I went, like maybe I think in 2015 or something like that. Like it wasn't there anymore. I think they had just closed it down maybe a few years before that. But
Yeah.
like that ride was there forever. So like just kind of goes to show like how well this movie
Yeah.
just, like spans across audiences and stuff.
Yeah. Like how popular it remained.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like this whole like end sequence is like amazing. Just like the tensity, like the shark looks really good. Like Quint has his plan, and then like they end up losing the shark. They like spear it with one of the barrels, and then it eventually ends up swimming away, and then it's like turns dark. So they kind of they're just waiting for the shark, right? Like
Yeah.
Hooper and or at least Brody wants to go back into shore, come back out the next day, but Quint's like, nah, we can't do that, man.
Yeah.
And this scene at nighttime when they're down like in the little kitchen area, like eating, drinking, it seems like they're pretty fucking hammered at this point, and they start like singing a song. I forget what it is, but it's great.
Yeah. Cause like Cooper starts to show Quint that he's not just like some rich guy with a whole bunch of technology. Like
Mm-hmm.
he shows him like they start comparing scars and it's like
Yeah.
show me yours and I'll show you mine sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like Quint is kind of starting to respect him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Brody asks Quint about a scar that he's got on his forearm.
Yeah.
And Quint says, oh, that was a tattoo that I had removed.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turns into like one of the best dialogues in, well, the best dialogue in the movie. And like fucking, even like from any movie, like him talking about his experience whenever he was in the Navy and like their ship
Mm-hmm.
capsized and like he was they're out in the open ocean
Yeah.
and just all of a sudden all of his fucking friends and fellow crewmates just start getting
Mm-hmm.
picked off by these sharks.
Yeah.
And he said they started off with 1,100 men and only 360 of them survived or something like that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is fucking crazy. But it's
Yeah.
just the way he tells the story. Robert Shaw just did an amazing
Mm-hmm.
job, I think.
Yeah, because at first, like Hooper's like joking, he's like, mother, and then starts like laughing really hard and like he's like hammered.
Mm.
And then like Quint says, like, no, it's USS Indianapolis. And then just like the like tone in the room just totally changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also the scene, probably one of the most iconic scenes we didn't even mention. Whenever Brody, the day before, whenever Brody sees the shark, like fully sees the shark.
Yeah.
And he just like stops moving, walks backwards into the thing, and just says to Quint, you're gonna need a bigger boat. And then like Quint's like, what do you mean? And then they see the shark and it's just like circling, and then he's like, and Hooper's like, it's a 20-footer. And then Quint's like, nah, that's 25-foot shark.
Yeah, like this shark is the size of the boat that they're on.
Pretty much, yeah. It's big, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, when they're down there and they're telling their stories, and all of a sudden you hear like banging, like while they're like singing and stuff like that. And it's the shark trying to fucking bang into the boat. All this water's coming in and stuff like that. They're trying to pump it out. And then I think they end up shooting their barrel on to the shark.
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah, it's just chaos right now. Like I don't know how they're surviving this. So yeah, the next day when they get the second barrel, you can kind of show like how much Brody does not know about any like boating and stuff like that, because like
Mhm.
which is like up on where the steering is, and they have like the ropes, and he's like, okay, tie the ropes to uh the cleaves in the back, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then so Hooper ties his, and then like Brody doesn't like take the rope over top of Hooper. He just lets it go around, or he goes behind him, doesn't go in front of him.
Yeah.
And then like Quint is like, yo, go in front of him, like don't fucking do that. And then as soon as he ties it, the fucking shark pulls it and like almost like takes off fucking Hooper's legs.
Yeah. Well, and he tells him too, he said as soon as like he said like if you feel this rope move at all or whatever, like let it go. He
Yeah.
said I've seen guys lose their fingers.
Yeah.
And even still, like he does let it go, but the rope's moving so fast it ends up cutting his hand, burning his hand.
Yeah. 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 So yeah. Uh Hooper almost got taken out, but
Yeah.
he got out of there. Yeah. So now they're pretty much like running out of options. Their boat is like slowly sinking. They only have a couple more barrels left, so I think they get one more barrel on the shark, and then at this point, like Quint's like, okay, the shark's done. Like, there's no way he can go under. Then like goes under, and like Quint's like shocked. He's like, that's never happened before.
Yeah.
Just goes to show like how powerful this thing is. So they're running out of options. And then finally, Quint is like, he grabs one of Hooper's like spear dart things. He's like, okay, like, what can these things do? You know, he's like, finally kind of coming to terms with that. Like, he needs help with this shark.
Yeah.
So he's like, explaining, he's like, yeah, like, I have this so and so drug, like, pump it with him and he'll be asleep, I guess. And then Quint's like, well, will this pierce its skin? He's like, nope, it won't pierce. So the only way we can do it is if I get it in its mouth. And
Yeah.
it's like, Jesus Christ. So they have this like this gate or this cage. So they end up throwing Hooper in the cage, and you know, he's kind of volunteering because like Brody's like, you're gonna fucking die. Like, he's gonna get through that thing. And Hoop
Yeah.
like screams at him like, what other options do we have? Like, you know,
Mhm.
they're running out of options of what to do.
Yeah.
So he gets in there, like as soon as you get in there, like you know that shark is coming for him, and like he was lucky as fuck to not get killed here.
Would you ever do this?
Absolutely not.
No, you wouldn't do cage dive?
Nope. Nope.
Hmm. I don't know if I would. I would rather do that than like swim openly with sharks, like some
Well,
people do.
yeah, but no, I would never do that.
Hmm. Be exhilarating.
It would, but shush, that's crazy.
You see the video of the guy, like the shark got in with him?
Yeah, the glass one.
Yeah.
Did you see the glass one where it comes up through the fucking bottom of the
Yeah.
glass? It's like, what the
Fucking nuts.
fuck? Fuck that. Uh anyway, so I think at this scene they use like real shark footage? They
I
had to
think
have, right?
so. I think so.
Because like the shark is like at one point like on top of it, like flaying around on it.
Hmm.
But yeah, like the
It
scene
looks
was so
too good to be the like the
yeah, it did,
animatronic
yeah,
one.
yeah. That's what made me so mad. Like as soon as like he brought that long ass like fucking spear in there with him, and then had his hands out, I was like, okay, you're dropping that thing, like
Yeah.
no doubt. As soon as the shark like slammed into it, he dropped it like an idiot.
Yeah.
And then the thing just makes its way in there, and then I don't know how we got out, but he made his way out, and then swims down and like hides behind some like coral reef.
Hmm.
And then meanwhile, the shark is like on top of the cage and it's like pulling it, and then the whole like system like breaks and chaos happens. Uh, and then they start pulling up the thing, and then it's gone. And this is where we get the untimely death of our boy Quint.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's at this point the boat is like kind of slowly sinking, and the shark is just like coming at him and like just hops up on the back of the boat and like just pulling it down, and Quint like just slides in the boat, and he almost made it, man. He tried to
He
put some.
fights. He
He
fights it
does,
off.
but then the shark just slowly chomps up his fucking legs, and it's a pretty brutal death.
It was.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was
I did
texting it.
like. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was texting Erica and I was like, "Fuck, man! Like Quint's death still gets me every time."
Mhm. Yeah. I like how we do get some foreshadow in this movie, like of the ending,
Hmm.
because whenever they first get on the boat and like Brody knocks over like the cylinders,
Yeah.
and then or Hooper like immediately yells at him like, "Yo, that's fucking dangerous! Like, be careful!" And then Quint says something like about it in the mouth or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Are you gonna say something?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was just listening
Uh,
to you.
so yeah, Quint is dead, and now the boat is like fully sinking. Brody's like in the little room, and then the shark just like fucking plows through the side of the thing into the boat. He grabs like one of the last cylinders, throws it in its mouth, and then it leaves. And then he gets up on like the mast, and
Mhm.
the shark is like coming towards him. He has a gun, and he's like trying to shoot it, and he's like, "Blow up, motherfucker!" And then hits it miraculously. Shark fucking blows the fuck up. It's definitely dead. So he's like pretty much in the water, and then you see Hooper come out. He's alive, and then they like start paddling their way back to the shore on their like little buck whatever the barrels.
Barrels, yeah.
Yeah.
We see a scene like this in Deep Blue Sea too, when LL Cool J blows up the shark.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So like this movie, I don't know, like people have been not trying to replicate it
Hmm.
for since it was made, but like they take bits and pieces of it for sure.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
like LL Cool J basically did the exact same thing that Brody just did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah. And I love like the last song in the movie, like Brody just says, "You know what? I like the water now," or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
All right.
Anything else they want to mention or bring up?
I don't think so.
Cool. Alrighty, well, that's the way the blood splatters.
All right. Oh, excuse me. All right. How'd you rate this movie?
This is a pretty easy rating for me. Um, Story gave it 10 out of 10. I love the story of this, like the character development you get of like the three main characters in this. Like they're like you said, they're banter back and forth. They love and hate each other, and they just have one goal to get this fucking shark.
Yeah.
I like how it plays out. It's very the story is like written like intensely, like the dialogue is great. Everyone has some great lines. So yeah, 10 out of 10. And then
Nice.
quality also gave it a 10 out of 10. I just think this movie is amazingly well made for when was it, like 1978 or something like that? Actually before
75.
that, 75. Like still holds up today. The animatronics look great.
Mhm.
The acting's pretty good. The cinematography is great. There's like a couple scenes where you could tell there's like blue screen, like or green screen behind
Mhm.
them when they're doing a couple like the ocean scenes. But yeah, I thought this movie looked great, and the score, obviously, the score is amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is a masterpiece to me.
Sweet.
What about you?
My story, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I said, although it is the shark movie, it's still just a shark movie. But I say that with the utmost respect because this is like the one that started it all off, and it's arguably the best one to be ever made. Um, And like I'm saying it's just a shark movie because I wasn't around when it first came out. So like
Mm-hmm.
we've seen countless shark movies now that all have like the same basic premise, but like in 1975 this was new and fresh and likely absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Um, which leads me to my next point of Steven Spielberg being a fucking mastermind because he single-handedly created one of the biggest widespread fears that we see today,
Yeah.
and that's with sharks.
Yeah.
Um, so like my nine comes from the fact that it is a shark movie. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like any like mind-blowing story or anything like that. And I did mention before there was some parts where I felt like it was a little too long,
Mm-hmm.
but still brilliantly made movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
Quality I did give it a 10 out of 10 though. I said the world hadn't seen anything like this movie at that point, and it was a cinematic masterpiece with like the camera work, the animatronic sharks, and that iconic score.
Mm-hmm.
And this was actually the first film ever shot on the ocean.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Hmm.
like those scenes when they're out on the boat, they're actually out on the boat,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy. So yeah, 9 out of 10 out of 10 for me.
Very nice.
All right, you guys know our scores. Let's head on over to Rotten Tomatoes and see what they've scored it. The critics' consensus: compelling, well crafted storytelling and a judicious sense of terror ensures Steven Spielberg's Jaws Steven Spielberg's Jaws has remained a benchmark in the art of delivering modern blockbuster thrills. So, what do you think the critics scored it?
I'm gonna go 96%.
Oh, so close. 97%.
Damn it.
On 99 reviews. And I believe this is probably our highest rated movie that we've ever done with a 9.3 out of 10 average score.
That's definitely, I think, up there. Yeah.
Yeah. The audience score was a 90% on 250,000 ratings and an average score of 4.4 out of 5 or an 8.8 out of 10. So,
Nice.
masterpiece in the eyes of the
Yeah.
fans as well.
Yeah. Letterboxed average is a 4 out of 5. I gave it a 5 out of 5. You gave it a 4.5. Our friend Alan gave it a 3 out of 5. XHR Pod gave it a 4 out of 5. There's a lot here. Erica, 5 out of 5. Nathan from I Hope You Suffer, a 5 out of 5. I think Jensen somewhere here. He was like a 3.5 out of 5. And that's it.
All right.
Oh, Anthony, a 5 out of 5, and John, a 4.5.
Nice.
Yep.
So the only one we really have to talk to is Alan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give him a piece of our mind.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the scare section?
I am.
All right. What did you give it for a scare rating?
Scary, I gave it a 5 out of 10. Still being from 1975, this is still, it's not as scary as probably what it was back in 1975, but still a lot of the scenes were shot really well, and the score really does add to a couple of the scenes. There isn't that, you don't see that much gore, but like, I don't know, it doesn't need to have a lot of gore, I feel like.
No, it doesn't.
And Quint's death is pretty brutal. So
yeah.
Scariest scene, I went with the opening scene because you do get like that iconic score right at the beginning, and like it's kind of like nighttime, so like you don't really see the shark that well or even at all, I don't think. And like you get the shot underwater, but you can't see anything. So like I know. I think it's just one of the more intense scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And then would I survive? I probably wouldn't be swimming in the ocean because I'm not a big swimmer. So I think I would survive.
All right. Sweet. For my scare rating, I gave it a 4 out of 10. I said open water and a giant ass man-eating shark is a scary premise. Some of the scenes are genuinely scary, but overall, this wasn't like a very visually scary movie. It's just mostly like the thought of what's happening that kind of gives it that big horror. Scary scene, I said the jump scare when they're scuba diving and that fisherman's face like kind of jumps out at them in the window. He's like missing an eye and his other eye's like bulging out, and it's just like he looks disgusting.
Yeah.
Would I survive? I said yes. I've only been in the ocean a handful of times, and I've never gone out far enough that a great white would be getting anywhere close to me. So I think I'm good.
Nice.
Before we wrap this up, have you ever seen the movie Orca?
No, I remember you watching it because I forget how it came up on like one of our chats or something like that, but I think we read like it came out like pretty much right after it and was basically like using Jaws as a stepping stone and like I remember you talking about it because I think you watched it, right?
Yeah, I'd watched it when I was a kid, and then I watched it like a couple of years ago too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nowhere near as good, but it's still kind of like it's still a good movie, just not on this level. But you can tell that they were trying to definitely ride on the coattails and like the popularity of Jaws and try to make their own movie. But yeah.
Do you think this movie, along with like Jurassic Park, like Spielberg is going for like action adventure and just like accidentally makes a horror movie?
I think he did that with Jurassic Park. I feel like with this movie, he was trying to make it horror.
Okay.
Because I mean, he does have like those horror elements, right? Like we do have that score, which really adds the tension to it. And like this isn't a very action-packed movie, whereas like Jurassic Park is. And like we have that scene with the fisherman and his eye falling out, and like the blood and the guts, and like there's quite a bit of gore. So
yeah,
I feel like he was probably going for horror with this one, but maybe not so much with Jurassic Park.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't, I mean, it's tough. Like, I don't think he was going for horror, like being like one of his first movies. But I don't know.
Well, he got it.
He did, yeah.
One of the most iconic horror movies ever made.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it on Jaws.
That's it.
So yeah, like I said, we were going to be doing a villain face-off, but we're not anymore. But we are going to keep the movie that we had originally planned.
Yep.
And next week we're going to be talking about Anaconda.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this movie in so long.
It's been probably 7, 8 years since I've last watched it.
Yeah, I know that they used shitty CGI for the snake, so I think we're going to be having some good conversations about that one.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. It's been a while since I've watched it, so
yeah, me too.
Be a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try and get through this. I'm feeling my sickness coming on.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, if you want to catch us on social media, you can find us at a podcast on Elm Street on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Jesus Christ. If you click the link in our bio on Instagram, you'll find links to our TeePublic account where we have our merch. There's also a link to our Patreon account if you wish to support the podcast that way. And there's links to our individual Letterboxd accounts, our Discord server, and anywhere that you can listen to us.
Yep.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Stay out of the ocean.
Yes.
Bring your bat or your shark repellent.
Yep.
From the original Batman movie.
Oh yeah, that's great. Oh man. All right, we'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, see you later.